Olive is an ostrich. She lives with her family in the outback. But Olive is very different. Olive's dad loves to run. Olive isn't a fast runner. Olive's mum enjoys laying huge eggs. Olive doesn't like the look of that at all. Olive's little brother pecks at the ground to find tasty roots to eat. Pecking at the ground makes Olive sneeze. But Olive has an incredible imagination. So while the rest of her family are running, pecking and laying eggs, Olive can be found imagining herself going on amazing adventures when she buries her head down, down into the sand. Until she popped up somewhere new. Olive found herself on a huge lily pad in the middle of a pond. She was wearing a pointy hat and sparkly shoes. Nearby, some frogs were having a party.
Cake, is this a birthday party?
Oh, no, it's no one's birthday. Us frogs just love to dance and party. You can join us if you like.
Yes, please. I love dancing. Almost as much as I love honey sandwiches, that is.
As Olive danced and ate her sandwich, she noticed a little frog sitting all on his own.
Hello, I'm Olive. What's your name?
Ribbit Patterson.
Why aren't you dancing? There's honey sandwiches too. And look, now everyone's catching flies.
I'm useless at catching flies. The other big frogs always laugh at me when I try.
Said Ribbit sadly.
Well, I won't laugh at you.
I couldn't even catch that fly over there, and it's really close.
Ribbit whipped out his tongue, only it was too short and he couldn't reach the fly.
Hey, Ribbit, you can learn, sunshine.
Called one of the bigger frogs. Olive and Ribbit ducked as the frog's massive tongue flew over their heads, caught the fly, then pulled it back into his mouth.
You see, I'll never catch flies like they can.
Olive looked over at the party. She spied some party blowers next to a big pot of honey on the table.
Party blowers, some honey. I think I may have an idea.
Olive dunked the party blower into the pot of sticky honey, then popped it into her beak like a rolled-up tongue.
Look, Olive.
Ribbit pointed to a fly sitting on a strange-looking plant. With all her might, Olive blew the sticky party blower. Only she missed, and it stuck to the strange plant instead.
Let me try,
Exclaimed Ribbit. But Olive had used too much honey, and the party blower was now stuck fast to her beak, as well as the plant.
It's stuck, it won't come off.
Suddenly, the plant began to rise out of the water.
Olive, why is the plant moving?
It wasn't a plant at all, but a very angry-looking crocodile. It swam off down the pond, dragging Olive with it.
Crocodile, it'll eat us all up.
Panicked Ribbit. Ribbit knew he had to do something, so he grabbed a spatula from one of the cakes and a party blower that he dipped in honey and waited for the crocodile to swim past him. Just as the crocodile got close, Ribbit blew the party blower as hard as he could and hit the crocodile. Ribbit was yanked off the lily pad and landed right on the crocodile's back.
Whoa, I've never surfed on a crocodile before.
Ribbit used the spatula to unstick Olive's party blower.
Oh, I'm free.
Jump, Olive.
They both leapt to safety, just as the crocodile snapped up behind them.
Oh, Ribbit, you were magnificent.
Magnificent? He's the bravest frog on the whole pond.
The big frogs lifted Ribbit onto their shoulders and declared him and Olive the party guests of honour.
Good catch, Ribbit. My turn. A little less honey.
But Olive missed and caught a cupcake instead.
I never did fancy flies much. Cupcakes are far more tasty.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Cake? Actually, I helped a frog to catch a crocodile.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.
Wow, wish I could have a go on that.
Olive looked down and saw a little hamster.
Hello, I'm Olive.
I'm Harry. I really want to ride the Mega Scream roller coaster.
The Mega Scream. I don't like the sound of that at all.
Problem is, I'm not allowed to go on it on my own. Would you like to ride the Mega Scream with me?
Olive took another look at the Mega Scream. As she did, the roller coaster cars did a loop-the-loop. Olive gulped. The Mega Scream looked really scary to her.
It does look like lots of fun, but it's very hot today. We could get sunburned so high up. Maybe we should save it for later when it's cooler.
Oh, okay then.
Olive could see how disappointed the little hamster was, and she wanted to cheer him up. Olive looked around at all the other rides.
An amusement park with lots of fun things to do. I think I may have an idea. Come on, Harry. We're going to have the most fun day ever.
Olive decided that she and Harry would try everything in the amusement park, apart from the Mega Scream, of course. They threw coconuts at the coconut shy. They had a go on the carousel.
Oh, this is fun.
Said Olive as they went round and round. They slid down the helter-skelter. They even had a go on the dodgem cars. Soon, they had tried pretty much everything in the amusement park, apart from the Mega Scream roller coaster.
Can we go on the Mega Scream now?
I'm really hungry. Why don't we get some yummy ice creams?
Oh, ice cream, my favourite.
It was Olive's favourite too. They went and bought 2 huge cones. But Olive's ice cream was so big, she couldn't see where she was walking.
Olive, shall we try this one last ride over here?
Why not?
Said Olive, not seeing what the ride was. She and Harry took their seats, and suddenly a metal bar came down over them.
What ride is this?
It's the Mega Scream. Here we go.
Before Olive could say anything, the roller coaster accelerated away. Olive and Harry went zooming and loop-the-looping all over the park.
Isn't it amazing, Olive?
I thought I'd be scared, but now I'm on it. This is the best ride ever.
Finally, the ride came to the end. Olive and Harry looked down. Their ice creams had disappeared. They looked behind them to see 2 foxes covered in ice cream.
Oh, sorry. Our ice creams must have flown off the cones somewhere on the ride.
We rather enjoyed our surprise snack.
Said one of the foxes. Olive and Harry got off the Mega Scream.
Thanks for giving me such an amazing afternoon.
And thank you for helping me get over my fear of roller coasters.
Chuckled Olive. They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I rode the Mega Scream roller coaster.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. She could hear some tinkly music. It was coming from a little white van that was parked nearby. And Olive could see all sorts of things inside the van.
Oh, those look tasty.
Exclaimed Olive. Olive was wearing a white overall and a special paper hat. She could hear strange grunts coming from inside the van.
Hello? Are you all right?
Asked Olive, and she reached in through the window to help. Up popped a very cold lady.
Thanks.
Shivered the lady.
I'm Millie Vanilla.
I'm Olive. Pleased to meet you. Oh, you're cold. You need to warm up.
Oh no, if I do that, my ice cream will melt, and I need it for a birthday party.
Ice cream?
Yes, it's a very tasty treat, and I don't want to boast, but my ice cream is the very best.
She reached into the freezer and scooped some ice cream into a cornet for Olive to taste.
I add a secret ingredient.
Whispered Millie, and she stuck a stick of chocolate on top. Olive licked the ice cream.
It's very tasty.
Like I said, the very best. Now I mustn't be late for the party. Would you like to help me?
Oh, yes, please.
Olive jumped into the van and they drove off. They were nearly there when Olive heard a bang. The van stopped with such a bump that all the chocolate sticks fell out of the window. Olive and Millie got out to see what was wrong. One of the tyres was completely flat.
All the air's leaked out.
But Millie was more worried about the big brown puddle on the ground.
What's worse, all my chocolate sticks have melted in the sun. What am I going to do?
At least we still have the ice cream.
But how can I get to the party with a hole in my tyre?
Olive looked through the ice cream van window and saw the cornets and cherries.
Cornets? Cherries? I think I may have an idea.
She bit the end off a cornet and stuck it in the hole in the tyre. Then she scooped up the melted chocolate and poured it in through the hole. When the tyre was full, Olive plugged the hole with a cherry.
Oh, good as new. Thanks, Olive.
And so, with the tyre fixed, they drove to the party. The children cheered as Olive and Millie handed out ice cream cornets, but the birthday boy looked puzzled.
Where's my chocolate stick?
He asked. Millie began to sniffle.
He only likes ice cream with a chocolate stick stuck in it.
Well, never mind.
Olive told the boy.
This is the very best ice cream.
Not without the chocolate stick, it isn't.
He noticed the mended tyre.
Hey, if I can't have a chocolate stick, can I have that cherry?
Oh, not that one.
Cried Olive. But before Olive could stop him, the boy pulled the cherry out of the tyre. Chocolate sprayed out of the hole, splashing everyone and everything,
Oh, no.
said Olive. But then she heard the birthday boy laughing.
Hey, this chocolate tastes amazing. In fact, this is the very best chocolate in the world.
Surprised, Olive and Millie tasted their ice creams. Yum!
Yum!
I don't want to boast, but he's right.
Boasted Millie.
Which makes this the very best ice cream in the world.
Everyone laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay, actually, I made the very best ice cream in the world.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. A group of people were running round a ring. Each of them had a dog trotting at their side. Suddenly, a voice from a loudspeaker boomed.
Welcome to Mott's Dog Show.
Oh, I love a good dog show.
Exclaimed Olive. Just then, she heard a sad voice.
Oh dear, what have I done?
The sad voice belonged to a little old lady who was holding a small carrying case.
I'm Olive. Is there something wrong?
Oh, hello, dear. I'm Mrs. Moggins, but I should be called Mrs. Silikins because I've come to the wrong show, and my little Buffy here won't be able to take part.
Why ever not?
Because Buffy is a cat.
Mrs. Moggins whipped open the door to the animal carrier and a small whiskery creature peered at Olive.
A cat? Oh, that could be a problem.
She's so disappointed not to be in the show. Look how droopy her whiskers are.
Why don't I get a nice cup of tea to cheer you up?
Oh, yes, I'd love a cup of tea.
Olive got 2 cups of tea and a plate of mini sticky bicky bites, which were very sticky indeed.
Yay! These mini sticky bicky bites are sticky to my feathers.
Giggled Olive.
If only Buffy could be in the show.
Mrs. Moggins sighed. Olive looked at the biscuits.
A cat. Some mini sticky bicky bites. I think I may have an idea. Mrs. Moggins, let's make a dog disguise for Buffy using these sticky bickies.
With Mrs. Moggins' help, Olive laid all the biscuits out on the ground and encouraged Buffy to roll over them. They all stuck to Buffy's fur.
Now Buffy is a new type of dog. A mini sticky bicky. All she has to do is woof and her disguise will be perfect.
Olive showed Buffy what to do.
Woof.
And Buffy copied her.
Meow, woof.
I think you should take her into the ring, Olive. After all, the disguise was your idea.
Things went well at first. Buffy trotted along nicely, she rolled over and even gave the judge her paw.
Let's have a huge round of applause for Olive the Ostrich and Buffy.
Said the judge. But just then, one of the dogs started to follow Buffy around the ring. Soon, all the other dogs were following her too.
Yay!
Cried Olive.
I think they've got a whiff of the biscuits.
The dogs chased Buffy, and Buffy chased the dogs, and the mini sticky bicky bites started to drop off. The dogs went crazy, woofing and munching the bickies up. Everyone could see Buffy without her disguise.
Look,
Cried the judge.
it's a cat.
Everyone gasped,
Meow.
said Buffy.
It's no use, Buffy. We've been found out.
Then suddenly the air was filled with booming laughter. It was the judge.
Oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
The judge thought it was so funny, he awarded Buffy a special rosette for Best Cat in a Dog Costume. Buffy was so happy, she purred.
Thank you for all your help, Olive. Buffy is the happiest cat in the show.
She's the only cat in the show.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I disguised a cat as a dog and won a rosette.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was in a big room surrounded by tall shelves full of books. It was very quiet,
Where am I?
said Olive rather loudly.
Shh! Be quiet, please. You're in a library.
A face peered out from behind one of the bookshelves. It was a little red squirrel with a big bushy tail.
Oh, sorry.
Olive whispered.
I'm Olive. Why is it so quiet in this library?
Because it's a place where you come to read or borrow books. It's best to have quiet when you're trying to read. I'm Henry Huckleberry, and I love to read.
Oh, me too.
Trouble is, I can't find my favourite book anywhere.
What's it called?
It's a big yellow book called Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs. It's really awesome.
It was then Olive and Henry heard someone muttering.
Oh dear, oh dear.
They peered behind a shelf and saw a little red-faced bookworm putting books back on the shelves.
Oh dear, oh bother.
Excuse me.
Whispered Olive.
What? What is it? I'm very busy, you know.
We're looking for a book. Wilfred, it's called Attack of the Mutant...
Sorry, I haven't got time to find your book. I've got all these books to put back on the shelves. Too much to do. Got to go.
Henry sighed.
This place is such a mess. My book could be anywhere.
Wait.
Said Olive.
Look, there's a yellow book on the top of that tall shelf.
Oh, yes, that's Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs. But we're never going to reach it way up there.
Lots of books that can be piled up really high. I think I may have an idea.
Henry and Olive stacked the books higher and higher until the pile almost touched the ceiling.
There. We'll have your book down in no time.
Olive began to climb the stack of books, but as Olive climbed higher, the books became more and more wobbly.
Be careful, Olive.
Whispered Henry. Finally, Olive got to the top. She had to lean over to grab Henry's book with her beak, but then the stack of the books really started to wobble. Olive couldn't keep her balance anymore. And then the whole stack collapsed. The books came tumbling down into a huge heap, burying Olive and Henry.
Oops.
Said Olive. Wilfred came rushing over.
Shh! What is this terrible mess?
Sorry, we were just trying to get my favourite book from the top shelf, and it all went horribly wrong.
We can help you put all these books back on the shelves, Wilfred.
Well, yes, I suppose that would be very helpful.
So Olive, Henry and Wilfred put all the books back onto the shelves. Finally, there was just one book left.
Wow! Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs. I've been looking for this book for ages. It's my favourite.
Wow, mine too.
Beamed Henry.
Why don't we read it together?
Yes! Great idea!
Shouted Wilfred.
Shush.
Shushed Olive and Henry.
Sorry,
Whispered Wilfred.
I should really keep my voice down. This is a library, don't you know?
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I helped find Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive found herself on a seaside pier lined with amusement stores all covered in flashing lights.
Oh, this place looks like fun. But where is everyone?
Out from behind a counter appeared a man in a stripy waistcoat.
Hello, and welcome to Cuthbert's Candy Hut.
Hello, Cuthbert. I'm Olive.
Oh, so what tickles your taste buds, Olive? Juicy jelly bear, a tasty stick of seaside rock, or the best candy floss on the whole pier?
Oh, can I try the candy floss, please?
Cuthbert poured a pink sugar mixture into his machine, spun it round in the bowl, dipped in a stick, and gave Olive some bright pink candy floss.
That's delicious.
And that's not the only treat round here. Let me show you the rest of the pier.
First, Cuthbert took Olive on the ghost train.
Cake, that was some scary stuff.
Next, they looked in the Hall of Mirrors, which turned Olive and Cuthbert into weird and wonderful wibbly-wobbly shapes. Last was the giant teacup ride. It spun so fast, it made them both really dizzy.
Wow, that was fun. This pier's amazing, Cuthbert. Why is no one here enjoying themselves?
Oh, no one visits the pier anymore. They're all too busy. At this rate, I'll have to close my candy hut forever.
Well, look, here's someone. I'm sure they'll love the pier.
All right, mister, got any candy floss, please?
Said a boy. Cuthbert gave him some candy floss he'd already made.
You serious, bro? That is tiny. This pier is rubbish. I'm off.
Please, wait just a second. Cuthbert, your candy flosses are a bit small, but maybe I can help.
Olive looked around.
Giant spinning cups, big candy canes. I think I may have an idea.
Olive and Cuthbert poured the candy floss mixture into one of the giant cups on the teacup ride. Olive pulled the lever and dipped in a large candy cane to make the biggest candy floss ever.
Wow, that's well wicked. Nice one, Olive, bro. Cheers, mister.
But no one noticed that Olive had left the ride switched on.
Olive, look.
Olive turned to see a gigantic ball of candy floss.
Cake, it's getting bigger.
That is well cool.
Suddenly, there was a gust of wind which blew the candy floss out of the teacup and all the way into town. And as it did, it rolled over a policeman.
What's all this then? Whoa!
He got caught up in the sticky mess. Then it rolled over a lollipop lady.
My side means stop! Oh!
It also rolled over everyone at the skate park.
Dude, no way!
Finally, it blew to the top of a skating ramp, stopped, then rolled all the way back down the street to Olive and Cuthbert on the pier.
We better unstick everyone, quick.
Olive and Cuthbert used the candy canes to hook everyone out.
They do all sound angry.
But just then, the people noticed all the rides.
A teacup ride, a ghost train, a hall of mirrors.
Everyone remembered how great the pier was, and they all ran off to have fun, while Cuthbert sold lots and lots of candy floss.
Would you like another one, Olive, as a thank you for all your help?
I don't know. I think it's time I went to brush my beak after all that sugary candy floss.
Oh, yeah.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Cake, actually, I helped make the biggest candy floss ball ever.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. It was a place covered in soft yellow sand, and it was next to a glistening blue sea.
It's a lovely sandy beach.
Olive looked down and saw she was wearing flippers. She tried to walk but fell flat on her beak.
Cake.
Don't worry, little ostrich.
Boomed a loud voice.
I'll save you.
A strong-looking horse helped Olive up. He had the shiniest mane of hair and the brightest smile she had ever seen. He wore a red jacket and spoke into a megaphone.
Hi, I'm David Hoppyhoof, beach lifeguard.
Cake, your loud voice is making me ears ring.
You'll get used to it. I'm always here, so if anybody gets into any trouble on this beach, I will rescue them.
You're a real hero.
Just doing my job.
boomed David as he proudly combed his shiny hair. Just then, Olive heard a cry coming from the sea. 2 tigers were in trouble. Their claws had punctured their rubber dinghy.
Help! We're sinking.
David, those tigers need your help.
But David had disappeared. Olive couldn't see him anywhere. Then she noticed a very funny-looking sandcastle. Olive shook her head.
Why are you pretending to be a sandcastle, David? Those tigers need you to rescue them.
I can't.
But that's your job. You're the beach lifeguard.
I was only pretending. I've always wanted to be a lifeguard, so I borrowed this outfit. The truth is, I never rescued anyone.
David started to cry.
You see, I hate the water. It makes my hair go all frizzy.
Help! We're still sinking.
Olive spotted David's huge comb and the surfboard lying nearby.
Oh, cool. A surfboard? I think I may have an idea.
David and Olive grabbed the surfboard and using David's comb as a paddle, they paddled out and rescued the tigers.
Hooray! You're our heroes.
They paddled back to the beach. David didn't get a drop of water on his shiny hair until...
There you go, my tiger friends. Back safely on dry land.
As David lifted the tigers onto the beach, he started to wobble.
Oh.
And then he toppled backwards into the sea.
Oh, your hair looks different.
Exclaimed Olive.
I love it. It's so big and it's so bouncy. It's really beach chic. Excuse me.
Came a stern voice. It belonged to an even bigger horse, who really did look like a lifeguard.
My name is Big Jim, and I am the lifeguard of this beach. What are you doing with my megaphone? I'm sorry. I only borrowed it so I could pretend to be a lifeguard like you.
Big Jim smiled.
I think you should keep it. After seeing you bravely rescue those tigers, I think you would make a great assistant lifeguard. Why, thank you.
Beamed David. He was thrilled. He couldn't believe his dream had finally come true.
And now you've got the perfect beach haircut as well.
Said Olive. They all laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been helping Hoppy Hoof the lifeguard.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was inside a huge building. In the middle was a large machine with conveyor belts leading in all directions. Olive was wearing some green overalls and a yellow hard hat. 2 men were working on the machine with spanners and screwdrivers.
Oh, what is wrong with this silly machine?
Complained one of the men.
Hello, I'm Olive. What's going on?
What ho, Olive? I'm Charles, foreman of this recycling plant. This is a recycling machine. Usually runs frightfully well, except at the moment it's not working at all.
What does a recycling machine do?
It sorts all the recyclable rubbish from the local area into paper, plastic, metal and glass. But it's broken down, and we still have that huge pile of recycling to sort. Problem is, we just can't work out what's wrong.
Well, maybe I could take a look.
Be my guest, old bean.
Said Charles, handing Olive a big spanner. She looked up at the machine's huge control panel, which had lots of dials, switches and buttons.
So, what could be the problem?
Olive wasn't sure where to start, so she took the spanner and twisted one of the bolts. Suddenly, lots of lights switched on and the machine made an odd noise.
Oh.
What? Who's there?
Asked Olive.
That really hurt.
Complained a voice. Now all the lights were on, Olive could see that the control panel was actually a huge face.
Oh, hello there. I'm Olive.
I'm Recycle, the recycling machine.
It said. Charles and the other men looked amazed.
I say, we never knew that machine could talk.
Learn something every day, don't you?
Said Resai.
Isai, what's wrong? Why have you stopped sorting the recycling?
I'm sad because the lovely music has stopped. I only like to work along to music, especially something with a good beat.
Ah, that'll be our radio. Some careless chap dropped it on the floor yesterday and we haven't got ourselves a new one yet.
Olive looked over at the big pile of recycling. There were lots of objects in the pile.
Some old metal bin lids, some bottles, some pieces of wood. I think I may have an idea.
Olive grabbed the bin lids, bottles and wood from the pile and handed them to Charles and the other workers. She selected a bottle and an old metal spoon. Olive started a beat on the bottle.
Resai! Resai!
Charles and the other workers looked a bit
Resai.
confused, but started to join in.
Come on, all together now! Resai!
Reside!
Some of the workers made a beat using different pieces of recycling. Others hit the floor, the walls, and even the sides of Resai.
Oh, wow, I love it!
Cried Resai. Suddenly, the conveyor belt started moving as Resai's pistons and cogs began to turn.
Resai's working!
Certainly is. Excellent stuff.
Charles and the other workmen, while still drumming along to the beat, began to feed the recycling into Resai, and soon he was happily sorting it all out.
This is smashing stuff, Olive. Now we know how to keep Resai here a happy machine.
Yes, at least until you get round to buying a new radio.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I was cheering up an unhappy recycling machine.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was wearing a red and white check shirt, dungarees and Wellington boots. She was standing in a fruit orchard on top of a very tall hill. There were sheep grazing amongst the trees.
Heck, look at all the fruit on these trees. Yummy.
She could see one of the trees shaking, so she headed over to investigate. There was a farmer jumping up and down as he tried to pick an apple from the tree.
Hello there.
Said Olive.
Hello.
Said the farmer.
My name's Olive. What are you doing?
Well, that's a good question, my lover.
My lover? That's a strange thing to call me.
Giggled Olive.
Oh, it's what I calls everyone. I'm Farmer Applebottom, and I have to pick the fruit from all my trees to make up fruit boxes for the whole village by 12 o'clock. But however am I going to do it in time?
Maybe I can help you, but you'll have to show me what to do.
Farmer Applebottom showed Olive how to pick the fruit and put it all in wooden boxes. They soon got to work, picking the apples, pears, oranges and lemons from the trees.
Oh, it's no good, Olive. There's just too much fruit. We're never going to pick it all in time.
Just then, Olive looked down the hill and spotted some dancers with funny costumes and flowers in their hats, stamping their feet.
What are those funny people doing, Farmer Applebottom?
Oh, they're the village Morris dancers.
Lots of fruit to pick. Funny stamping dancers. I think I may have an idea. Yoo-hoo!
Olive called down to the Morris dancers.
Could you come and give us a hand, please?
The Morris dancers waved and nodded and started to climb the hill. Soon, they were standing in the orchard.
If we all dance in a ring around the trees and stamp our feet really hard, we should be able to make the fruit fall to the ground as the trees shake.
Oh, right you are, my lover.
Said Farmer Applebottom.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go! I think it's working.
As the last piece of fruit fell, the Morris dancers left to practice back in the village.
I know.
Just after they went, all the fruit began to roll down the hill towards the village.
Oh, no, Olive. All the fruit is rolling away. What are we going to do now?
Olive heard a sheep bleating.
Jump on a sheep, Farmer Applebottom. We're gonna chase the fruit down the hill, and you'll need to grab a branch too.
A branch, my lover?
Use the branch to knock the fruit into people's houses.
They both climbed onto sheep and chased after the fruit, knocking the fruit into each house right through the front doors.
We did it, my lover. We got all the fruit to the village and it's still not even 12 o'clock.
Oh, we are a right pair, aren't we?
Said Olive. They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I've been picking fruit in an orchard.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was on board a spaceship. She was wearing a silver top and a sweatband around her head.
Cake, that's an amazing view.
Just then, the spaceship began to shake.
Whoa, what's happening?
A door slid open to reveal a man leaping up and down so much it was making the whole room shake.
Hey, up 2, 3, and down 2, 3. Pump it up 2, 3. Fitness fans, come on!
All the shaking made it hard for Olive to stay on her feet.
Where? I'm Olive. What's with all the leaping about?
The man stopped, and the shaking did too.
Whoa, you proper made me jump then, Olive. I'm Captain Smirk, and this is the Starship exercise on its 5-year mission to seek out and exercise new civilizations, to boldly go where no aerobics class has gone before.
Suddenly, the spaceship lurched from side to side, sending both Olive and Captain Smirk tumbling all over the place.
Whoa, what's going on now?
Oh no, look over there.
Captain Smirk pointed out of the window towards a line of gigantic custard pies spinning through space towards them.
Enemy custard pies approaching at warp speed.
Custard pies? Tasty.
Those aren't for eating, you dingbat. They're attacking us. Hold on to your feathers, Olive.
The captain pulled on a lever, tilting the spaceship this way and that, narrowly avoiding the spinning pies.
You did it, Captain.
Yeah, for now. Computer, show me the source of those pies. Affirmative.
Why would that donut throw giant custard pies at us?
Dunno, but I'm not going to hang around to find out.
The captain pulled on the lever once again. The engines whirred as they powered up. Then...
Egg! Captain, I think we have a problem.
You're not wrong. The engines are clogged up with pie. We can't move, and that donut is closing in on us.
Maybe we could contact the donut and explain that we're friendly.
Computer, make donut contact. Affirmative.
What are they saying?
I haven't got the foggiest, but what I do know is we have to get out of here fast.
A pie-clogged engine, a keep fit routine that makes a ship shake. I think I may have an idea. Quick, exercise. We need to unblock those engines.
Soon all the bouncing started to shake free the pie that was clogging up the engines.
Hey up, Olivia Brain Box. It's working.
But the donut was still closing in on them.
Come on, Captain. Double time. Leap up 2, 3 and down 2, 3. Up 2, 3 and down.
The captain leapt up and down with Olive, and finally their bouncing shook the pie out of the ship's engines, and they roared back to life.
We did it.
Well done, Olive. Let's get out of here.
No, wait. Look.
The space donut was now close enough to see into the control room. The walls were covered in pictures of Captain Smirk. And there was an alien on the command deck performing keep fit moves. He was obviously a huge fan.
The alien captain just wants to join your keep fit class.
So I throw pies at us.
Suddenly, the alien teleported himself onto the ship, appearing between Olive and the captain.
Hello there. I guess that's his way of saying hello. Yummy.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I had a keep fit workout in space.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.